working tinier with the...
Well, the airbrush works a little bit different. Unlike spray painting, this is an actual tool and it has a technique to it. So the technique to this tool is you push down for air, and the more you pull back, the more paint comes out. So unlike spray painting where you're just going to be, you know, and you have to control it built around the tips and different things, with airbrushing, I can go, if you guys can be able to see, that's why I want you guys to be able to come close. I can be able to go real thin, and then also real fat. So you have more control that way. And then you don't have any overspraying smell. So the airbrush is, and what it does is one of those things, unlike spray painting, when you're teaching with spray painting kids, it's simple for them, they just spray. With the airbrush, it's a technique, so you're teaching them patience. They're going to want to, the first thing they want to do is paint something like this. That's the first thing they want to do. But when we're coming in with the stencils and we say, well, you can't paint anything until you create a stencil. Because this is part of the process now. We're not just putting the airbrush in their hand and walking away. We're saying, no, you have to create your stencil first. And when they can be able to create their stencil, it's going to take them a while to be able to, you know, grab the concept of what a stencil is. But then with the airbrushing, that's the simple part.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do is just make it, our whole goal is, I came to this conference and I've been going to schools for a long time, and I kept running into the same problem. You guys are buying airbrush equipment, or somebody is in the school buying airbrush equipment, and whether you inherited it because it was in your classroom when you got there, or you wanted to use it as a tool to be able to connect with kids, and then now you got the equipment and you don't know how to use it, or you bought the wrong equipment. So with my whole aspect was to not only give you guys the tools, but create a gun that is affordable. This is the A.R.T airbrush. It's called the Assassin airbrush. We sell this gun for, we have a show special for $99. It's all American made, made in the USA. The tips and needles are only like $6. That's what you're going to be going through with a lot of kids. Kids are going to be dropping it. They're going to be, you know, unhooking stuff, and stuff is going to be rolling around. But normally what's going to happen, what you're going to be wearing out, is this piece right here. This is the needle. This is the needle right here. And what this needle does is, the air comes up here into this chamber, the needle slides into the chamber, and at the tip of this head, the needle and the air connects. And as this needle is going in and out, it's allowing more paint and air to be able to come out. So when you're airbrushing, not only is it important as far as the trigger aspect of it and understanding how much pressure is coming out, it's really important understanding the distance you are from the subject matter. So if I wanted to get, going a little bit closer in, I would go a little bit closer in. If I wanted to go a little bit smaller, a little bit more detail on some of the work that you see, I just go a little bit closer in on it.
So do you have kids like practice for a while on like poster board or paper or something?
Exactly. So what I do is I buy paper towels, a roll of paper towels, 99 cents, 2 for $1, cheaper the better. So I buy rolls of paper towels. A little tabletop easel is fine. You can build your own easel. Just something that they can be able to lean a board or something on. And normally I just take a piece of board. I'll take some canvas sometimes. And this is their base. If you got some drawing boards, this is their base that they can be able to use to be able to put their, they can use a clamp, put a clamp at the top, and they can be able to clamp their paper towels on them. And then allow them to be able to save their paper towels also. Because you want them to save it so they can be able to see their progress throughout the process. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I put this airbrush together so you're kind of clear about all the different parts. So this right here is the trigger. This is what controls the air and the paint. And this trigger goes down into a little chamber. And where this chamber is the air chamber. And it's the ball in the inside of there. And every time I put this trigger down, air comes out. This is like the rocking ring, And what this does is keep the trigger in place so it doesn't go back and forth. You kind of scoop this in, and it has a little bell at the top. And you want to be able to scoop this in, and this sits on the back of the trigger. And then you have a spring. Now inside your airbrush kit, you get the whole breakdown of all your parts and different things like that, and you have a 2-year warranty on all the parts. And then at the back you have another chuck screw, and what that does is that compresses this spring, so when you pull this trigger back, the trigger automatically moves forward, because the spring is giving it some resistance. And you screw that in, and when you screw that in, you just want to be able to test it. And I have some resistance now, and I want it just to be a little bit more tighter. And when you buy the airbrush directly out of the box, it's already tuned up for you and everything. And then this is the needle. So this is what normally you're going to be going through. This needle right here bends. Kids are going to be dropping it. It's going to be bending. Sometimes they might drop it on the back. You know, so you're going to be looking at this needle. This needle needs to be nice and sharp at the point. And this needle also builds up paint sometimes. So one of the tricks to be able to keep it from building up paint and try to make it where it doesn't dry up on here is just take some lubrication. You can take some beeswax. You can take some Vaseline and put that on your needle, and you want that to be able to slide in there nice and tight. And then this one right here is the locking piece. And you screw this on the back of the chuck, and the screws on. And then you have the head assembly right here, that screws off, and there's a little tip in there that's also in there. And those are also $6. Those are what we'll be going through also. So I get a lot of teachers, they'll buy 10 of them or 5 of them also. So the way this works, the compressed air goes through this hose. Now this compressor is a silent compressor. This is one of the ones that we manufacture and we sell. It's a silent compressor that automatically kicks on and kicks off. It has a tank built into it. And the front of it is a regulator. This regulates the pressure of how much pressure is coming out, how much air is coming out through the hose. Normally, I keep my pressure at, with this compressor, I'm at right now at 50 PSI. So you want to try to paint between 50 and 60 PSI. You pop this, it has a little knob on it where you can be able to turn the knob up and down to be able to adjust the pressure. And one of the things that we made with this compressor, we made it really unique, is we have 2 different modes on it. This is the tank at the bottom. So the air pumps into the tank, and when the tank is full, the compressor turns off. That's when you just heard it go off. Now, when I want to, so right now I got it in 1 airbrush mode. If I want to have 2 airbrushes, I click down, and now I can have it in multiple airbrush mode. So I can run 2 airbrushes at one time. I can have my quick connects hooked up and so on. And it'll automatically keep running until the tank is full, and then all of a sudden it'll shut off. And then right in the middle, you got your on and off switch. And the reason why we decided to really focus in on a compressor is because space and the noise. You know, you can't be in the school and you got a compressor in the closet and just rattling through it. So this is really quiet. We also have, this one is built in with an airbrush holder. So you can set your airbrush in there also. So the compressed air goes up, it meets into the chamber, the paint comes up through this bottle. And you get a free airbrush bottle that comes along with your airbrush also. And this is the bottle. So this is where you pour your paint in, to this bottle. You pour your paint in there, it comes through this straw or this tube. And this is called a siphon feed airbrush, a double action siphon feed airbrush. The reason it's called siphon feed because it sucks up the paint. So when the air goes into this chamber, it meets right here where you put the bottle at, and the air sucks the paint up through the tube, and it meets at the tip. So one of the reasons why you got another airbrush is called a gravity-fed airbrush, where you pour paint at the top of it. But when you're dealing with kids, you don't want to paint. Kids don't want to paint. And you ain't going to have to keep stopping and pouring paint and then all of the kids. So you can be able to fill this up with as much paint as you want to, and then go ahead and spray directly from the bottom. So as I was saying, the basic technique with airbrushing is you put it down and then you pull back. And what I recommend when you're starting off is just using simple objects around. So we're going to use like a top. And what I normally do is I'll take a little bit of spray adhesive, some 3M or Elmo, whatever you can get your hands on. And normally what I do is I'll keep a little box around that we can spray in. I'll take a soda bottle, 32-ounce soda bottle, cut a hole in it. Kids can spray inside that. Milk containers, anything that they can just spray in. And what I normally do is just put some garbage in there so the paint sticks to something and it doesn't get all liquefied at the bottom of the box. So I just put some stuff in there. And then with the spraying adhesive, one thing about the spraying adhesive is it's really sticky and it leaves like a residue everywhere. So what you want to do is try to spray, if you're going to have them using the spraying adhesive, spray it into one thing. You can do a garbage can or whatever. So what you want to do is just spray the spraying adhesive on your stencil or whatever found object. Stick it on there. Now you don't be having to worry about having to airbrush with one hand. Take your airbrush, put it down, pull back, put it down, pull back, go around the edges. Now this is really no technique pretty much built around this. You just open it up, pull back, and just spray around the edges. Take off now you have a circle. So you can use this airbrush also as a tool to be able to show